Hey, welcome back. So, a lot of you really enjoyed my reaction and just my analysis basically on Titli's best butter chicken, and it was a lot of fun to do it. And some of you wanted to see more of that. And the next thing that came to my mind is my favorite episode. I think one of my all-time favorites episodes from Kitchen Nightmares. I've rewatched that show so many times, and my favorite one is Pantaleone's, the pizza that ate Denver. Now, for those of you who've never seen Kitchen Nightmares, you have to see it. The show is about restaurants that are not doing so well. Regardless what it is, Chef Gordon Ramsay, who is a multi-Michelin star chef, comes in, tries to find these issues, tries to fix these issues, and most times he leaves the restaurants in a better place than they were when he got in. So this one is taking place in Denver, Colorado, and the pizza that ate Denver, is just so epic. So why should you see this from me, from my point of view? Well, I've had, I think, about 3.5, 4 years of experience behind the line at a pretty fast-paced restaurant, and I can tell when food standards are not being kept up to par, when the cooks behind the line are slacking, when the owners don't have a goal. And I'm going to try to see and analyze what really happens from my point of view in this kitchen.
In Greece, when I first got to the US, I was a chef in another place, but I wanted to buy a place of my own because my pizza is the best in the whole world.
Now that's just classic. It's perfect. The restaurant had a great start, won lots of awards, and yeah, the owner was super proud of their crust on the pizza. That's what put them on the map. Like, they made their American dream come true basically, right? So if you've succeeded and you've made it, you kind of hold on to things very tightly, and you can see that in the proudness that the owner was kind of displaying in this reenactment of how he must feel, which is awesome.
I'm getting some bad feedback on your pizza.
What are you going to do? My food is not the problem.
Now I get it, right? They made it. They held those cards close to their chest because that's what their weapon was. Their trump card was, right? And then they never pivoted. Let's take a look at all these other companies that failed to pivot, failed to see what the customer base wanted as they kept going. So at the restaurant, at where I used to work, you would not have the same dish in the menu this summer that you had last summer, even if it was a favorite. Some favorites, sure, they would stick around, but you want to keep the public interested at all times. Something new means that you're not stagnant, you're moving with the flow. I believe I heard this somewhere. Be like water, right? Be like water. And take a look at other companies that did the same thing. They didn't want to change. Blockbuster, BlackBerry, Nokia, right? Windows with their mobile OS. It just didn't work, and they refused to acknowledge it.
My grandpa's pizza is like a white wall tire.
It's mushy, it's getting old.
That's disgusting.
Okay, so let's not put too much attention on what the public is saying here, because it is being recorded, and I have read lots of like behind the scenes kind of like stories and incidents where you kind of get the sense that fine, the food might not be up to date, the food might be greasy, disgusting, or bready. The people who are in there might be paid to basically say what they are saying, so let's take it with a grain of salt. I do see the greasiness, but yeah, it is a TV show. Let's not forget that. It's a TV show. Now I do want the focus to be the food, so let's just skip forward to where Gordon Ramsay actually makes the order. Let's see what he's getting, and we'll take a look closer at the food itself.
That's pretty bad. That's disgusting.
Shut up, all of you.
Now, I think this is kind of very silly. If you're in a professional setting, you're selling food professionally, and you want to keep that consistency, you want to keep your returning customers happy, you want to keep that standard high up, you need to set some standards, and that includes knowing how long a particular recipe needs to cook or bake for, so that every single time it bakes for that exact amount of time and it's perfect every single time, so that even a monkey can do it. I'm not saying that cooks are monkeys, but it should be standardized enough so that it should be like clockwork. So if you have 10 different orders, you know exactly how long each of them are going to go for, so that every single one of them is going to be perfect. If you have a 10 top, a 12 top, I think at once I did a 17 top, and that was sushi, right? You want every single one of the people who get the same dish to have the exact same experience, and them fighting around is not going to help with that quality.
Never seen a calzone so full. I mean, the filling's cold. That is hideous.
Now, might I say, I've always loved Paulette. She's funny, so funny. Again, a product of lack of standardization, and it's possible. I don't know the pizza scene in the 90s or the 80s in Denver. Like, I'm sure maybe if, let's assume, the portions were the exact same, that calzone was served the exact same way back then, and that resulted in the awards. That's a big assumption, by the way. And maybe back then it was fine to serve these crazy portions, to have the pepperoni slices just stacked, enormous amounts of cheese and raw onion. I would not like raw onions on a pizza. I love onions on a pizza, and I get an onion pizza all the time, thanks to Domino's India. But raw, even I would send that back, and I think I give pretty much a lot of slack when it comes to restaurant portions and the servings, because I just know like how crazy it can get back there. So again, standardization. Let's keep watching.
Listen to me, damn it. The complaint is it's so full, it's cold.
Shut up.
You need to always be able to take critique. I don't know if that just shut up clip was taken from another point in the service and put in so that it seems like he's being rude to the wife. You don't know what to do in the edits, so I'm going to ignore that. But you always want to know what the complaints are. I personally don't care or put that much emphasis on how great something is. Even in like my YouTube stuff, if somebody says, hey, it's awesome, great job, perfect, thank you for that. But when somebody says a critique, I put more emphasis on that, because I'm gonna try and be as better, the best that I can be. How about that?
It's like the pizza that ate Denver.
Yeah.
Shit.
Okay. I'll let you take that in.
Thank you. There, look at the grease. That's gross.
Now, I'm not a pizza connoisseur, but everything that I have learned about a pizza is from this Bible, the Pizza Bible by Tony Geminani. I've spoken to him, I think, maybe once on Instagram, just a fan reaching out to a great pizza champ, as it says on the book here. But what I put emphasis on a pizza is you slice it up, you lift the slice, and it holds its own. It should not flop. It should have a nice crunch. And well, I've never personally seen a pizza that has that much bread. The owner clearly thinks that it's the best pizza in the country. There's something to be said about the fake confidence or the overconfidence which is built off nothing, because if it was the best pizza in the country, well, just saying it doesn't make it come true. It'd be better if he tried to go into pizza competitions. I don't know if that's a thing. Clearly it's a thing, because Tony Giovinazzi is an 11-time world pizza champ. So why not put your pizza in there? Maybe if it is that great, you can advertise that. You have to be kind of humble. You have to have confidence in what you're putting out. But it needs to be built off of a foundation, which I don't see here clearly by the fact that they are the ones who called Ramsay to fix up the mess.
For tonight, Chef Ramsay has divided up the work for the father and son team.
And this is perfect. So you need to have your roles assigned, and the most important part of going into a service is having all of your prep done. Ideally, there are times where lunch service gets so busy that you don't have time to have everything prepared for dinner. That's why you need more, as you call, bodies on the line. But everybody needs to know what their role is, and everything should be well organized, because if you're not running like a well-oiled machine, you most likely will crash and burn.
While Pete, in addition to making the pizzas, will be expediting.
I should have mentioned earlier, but the expediter is the person who kind of sets the flow of the kitchen. For example, when you first are starting your night, in my restaurant at least, you want to really zip through the first couple of orders, because those first initial orders is what sets the tone of the entire service. And if you see yourself struggling in those first couple of orders, you better prepare yourself or pull up your socks for the next couple of them, because you really want to head into night or your lunch service in a strong way.
What else is on that ticket? Don't just start throwing pizzas in now.
You don't think I know what I'm doing, do you?
You know, it doesn't really matter how good of a cook or a chef you are. If you're getting overwhelmed by tickets, you have lost track of what you're even doing, then those standards are gonna drop all the way down. You need to stay on top. You need to always know what set or what table you're working on, so that you can really prioritize what you need to, and are not just working with your head down mindlessly. I know you're focusing, but you need a target.
Both Pete and Josh are clearly more focused.
There was 16.
Now, I'm pretty sure it's rare, but in most episodes of Kitchen Nightmares, you get the initial introductions, you have Ramsay actually tasting the food, you see a full service, which you did not see in this episode, which is a rarity, and then the transformation happens, the sorting out to the issue happens all at the same time, and then you see the final service, which we just saw right now. It's weird how we didn't see the actual crash and burn of the service after the tasting initially, but you really got to see what really happens when you focus, when you have a system, when you know cook times, you know how to be consistent. And what's pretty cool about Pantaleone's is, if you look them up now, they actually have some really great reviews. And I went on their website, it's modernized, the food looks kind of great, and if I'm ever around Denver, I would definitely want to try it, just because I've seen this episode maybe half my life, and that's a long time. You need these key things that I just talked about in your kitchen, or just in yourself as a leader, so that you can then instill it in the people working in your brigade or under you as line cooks and sous chefs and shift leaders. And this was a fun experience for me to film it, and I hope you had fun as well. So if you enjoyed this, why not consider supporting me and becoming a prep cook at my Patreon page. Let me know what you want to see there, and I'll be happy to do more videos just like this. If there's something that you want to see next, then let me know down below. If you want a great homemade pizza in a home oven, check out my recipe down below. You are absolutely going to love it.